and welcome back to Hadoop Exam Learning Resources. In this session, we are going to cover context mapping of domain-driven design. This is the third and last topic for the strategic design tool for the domain-driven design. So let's discuss context mapping. Context mapping is a technique to integrate multiple bounded contexts. So as we have discussed, we need to develop various bounded contexts. We need to define the subdomain, etc. in this basically correct when you work with the uh, domain-driven design. So now what context map here shows, like when you have a different bounded context defined, and how this bounded context get integrated with them. We should avoid tight coupling, correct? That is our target. We should not have any tight coupling between multiple bounded contexts. So how we can avoid it? So this relationship between bounded context or how they are integrated, that is called a context mapping. So there are multiple ways by which you can integrate this bounded context so that tight coupling can be avoided. Which one to follow, that we need to learn more on that, but there are multiple ways to do that. So core domain would have to integrate with other bounded contexts, like suppose for your restaurant domain, if you are working it, then legacy or another domain like inventory management, correct, which is third party product you have purchased it. You have a identity and access management, this is another module software you have bought it. So how this can be integrated, and there shouldn't be any tight coupling, like tight coupling in the sense you would not use this object of this class directly in this, correct? If you use it, then there's a tight coupling, so you have to have avoid that basically. So core domain would have to integrate with other bounded contexts as we discussed. Imagine that two teams need to work together, but they work across bounded boundaries and don't speak the same language. Basically, so here I am, another team is working. If suppose it's an in-house development, so this would be another team. Identity and access management, inventory is another team. Then your restaurant domain would be another team. This is a core domain which your high focus on this basically. So there are multiple ways to do this, and one of the popular ways is anti-corruption layer. In the next session we'll discuss in detail about an anti-corruption layer, but this is one of the well-known ways to handle the integration between various contexts. So uh, I'll discuss later. Okay, so I skip this part. The layer isolates the downstream model from the upstream. So what is downstream, what is upstream, basically we'll discuss. So these are the various ways, like I was saying it, like anti-corruption layer, shared kernel, then customer supplier team, conformist. These are all pattern which you can follow, any of them to integrate the various context or bounded context. So in detail we will discuss anti-corruption layer now, because there is too much thing to discuss, but these are the concepts which are available to basically you can learn this. If time permits, later we will cover this as well, but we will focus on anti-corruption layer, so it would give you an idea what exactly it means. So context map is used to visualize bounded context and relationship between them. So you can see here, like this is the arrow which shows the relationship between this bounded context and this bounded context. How do you implement this? Even you can label the relationship as well as their dependency. Now here what does it mean? This arrow shows this bounded context depend on this bounded context, because this is an arrow here. So that is what how you visualize this. You can give the name to this relationship if you want to give something, so then you can do this. So this is an let's say this is an order context, and which is in the restaurant, which depend on the server bounded context, correct? So this is an order bounded context, this server bounded context. So order is depend on the server, that is what you can see is. So this is what context mapping. So anti-corruption layer is a quite detail I want to cover, so let's stop here, and I'll cover anti-corruption layer in the next session. So context mapping is to how do you integrate between bounded context. That is what you need to know. So thanks for watching. I'm stopping now.